Good morning, Peter Goertz. I'm a psychiatrist. Standing up for yourself. So with patients, sometimes I've said things like, you become a tigress. So if someone becomes a tigress or a tiger, that means they've started standing up for themselves in life. And in general, that can lead to a very empowered, powerful state of mind. So in my opinion, your purpose in life is not to please others. And nobody's better than you. We're all just people with problems. So it's helpful, in my opinion, for all of us to embrace that, realize that, remind ourselves of that. And subconscious and unconscious beliefs can be very tricky. So as much as possible, we want to do our best to get in touch with those beliefs, try to be aware of them. Not standing up for oneself can be draining, disempowering. One example that was interesting to me was a patient was married for many years, and apparently her husband may have been domineering, and he then unexpectedly died. And the patient, while he was alive, had been on a lot of medication and had been doing reasonably okay, but needing quite a bit of medication to be reasonably stable. And then, interestingly to me, after the husband died, she became obviously stronger emotionally and seemed quite empowered and needed less and less medication. So that was interesting to see. And she told me, she had not mentioned this before, she told me that apparently her husband had been quite domineering, and it seemed like she felt liberated and much more empowered. Another patient whose husband had been quite demeaning, rude, not respected her requests for respectful actions on his part, has been more and more aware of that and has felt more empowered, and also has been able to do quite well with very little psychiatric medicine. So what we're often talking about in standing up for ourselves is fear. So fear of conflict. Do you like conflict? Do you like fighting with someone verbally? So it's important to look at that fear, because if you let that fear dominate your life, you're gonna not stand up for yourself necessarily. And the possible advantage in your mind of not standing up for yourself is you're gonna have a safe situation. There's not gonna be a blow up. There's not gonna be a big argument. It's gonna be the status quo, but the status quo often can be quite disempowering. So it often is wise to stand up for yourself. Of course, you want to choose your battles. And one major thing is you want to make sure people are safe. So if your husband has a gun, is a violent person, you want to be very careful. So that a confrontation with a person with a gun in their hand obviously is something to be very careful with, and you may not want to stand up for yourself in any confrontational way at that point. So safety is a major concern. If safety is not an issue, we can be a lot more flexible. And again, if safety is not an issue, if the other person gets mad, if they're very angry when you stand up for yourself, that's probably a very good sign that you're doing the right thing for yourself. So as that person is standing there shouting, angry, try and remind yourself, wow, It looks like I might be doing the right thing for myself by standing up for myself. And what can help you also in a situation where you're standing up for yourself is to be centered. So in your body, so not just thinking and thinking and thinking, but really be strong and centered in your body. Feel your body. You can focus on a particular area, like the area around your heart or wherever you want to focus on. And you can stand up for yourself in just as strong a way if you're courteous. So you do not need to be rude or curse when you stand up for yourself. You can stand up for yourself just as strongly, just as intensely, and be courteous at the same time. And people can be quite, or try to be quite manipulating. So let's say a parent is standing in front of you crying and saying, I gave everything for you so you could get a good education. I sacrificed this, that, and again, is standing there crying. And they want you to go into the family business, let's say, and you don't want to do that. Your heart is not in it. You really don't feel like that's something that's good for you. But the parent is standing there crying and trying to manipulate you to go into the family business, and you don't want to do it. So that can be quite a difficult situation for people. But again, you want to remind yourself of some things that I mentioned. And another example might be, let's say, a friend, a good friend of yours, suddenly they run into financial trouble and they want to stay in your apartment. Let's say a relatively small apartment, a one-bedroom apartment, they want to stay in your apartment for 6 months. You do not have to do that. So try and remind yourself of what your needs are, what you want, what feels right to you. You do not have to do things that other people want you to do. And again, people can be quite manipulative. The friend may also be tearful, saying, well, I did this and this and this for you. If it doesn't feel right for you, you do not have to do it. And again, you can stand up for yourself with a parent or a friend in a strong way and still at the same time be courteous. If someone has been through abuse, neglect in childhood, for example, that can be connected with low self-esteem and also a vulnerability to be treated unfairly. So it can be, with that background, especially difficult to stand up for oneself, but it's definitely worth standing up for yourself. If you don't stand up for yourself, that can be connected with internal stress then as a consequence, and also then emotional and physical consequences even related to the emotional stress. People can want to influence you in various ways. They may want to influence your future plans, like I mentioned, career. They may want to influence you financially, so they may want money from you. They may want you to do certain kinds of work. They may want you to do chores. They may want sexual things from you. Whatever it is other people want, try and remind yourself what your needs are. Be centered. Feel what feels right to you. Be in your body, connected with your body. Feel your body. And standing up for yourself can be very empowering and really help your life in general and help you to enjoy your life. Thank you.